Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Time Traveler's Handbook. This is the 6th episode in our talk about Bill and Ted Face the Music, spoilers ahead. I wanted to highlight some of the interesting ways that this movie uses parallel realities that sets it apart from others. There are 2 specific scenarios that I'm wanting to talk about first. The first is how they travel to the future in general. It's left a little bit ambiguous that the future that they're traveling to is not necessarily the future that they're going to end up in. In fact, they could be traveling to multiple possible futures where different events happen in the past of Bill and Ted to cause different outcomes in their lives. For example, one possible future never had the concert that pivoted the future, so Bill and Ted's lives were ruined and they ended up in prison eventually. Another possible future is where the concert did happen and a much older Bill and Ted hand a flash drive with the recorded event on it so that the present Bill and Ted can go back and play it. However, this could have also been the same future, just much later, and the thumb drive could still be a fake considering that Bill and Ted were not even the ones that ended up playing the song, and presumably the older Bill and Ted would have known this. In any case, the future that they're traveling to is just one possible future out of many, and they know that the pivotal event has to do with the concert. The second interesting use of parallel realities is in the end of the movie when Bill and Ted press the infinity button on the time machine. Essentially, this allows Bill and Ted to create an infinite number of versions of themselves and the time machine, which travel to an infinite number of parallel universes and give an infinite number of instruments to an infinite number of random people. What this results in is everyone in the universe and in every parallel timeline rocking out together at the same moment to save the universe. The ramifications of this are actually kind of frightening to think about. Bill and Ted existed everywhere at once for a couple of moments. The scale of this is just impossible to think about, considering they went to every possible universe and distributed instruments there as well. Fortunately, they are not in every time at once, just every place. So we aren't stuck with Bill and Ted forever giving instruments to everyone throughout history forever. But just in that brief period of time leading up to the saving of the universe, they were everywhere all at once. I feel like this concept can be broadened quite a bit, considering that it's pretty unique to Bill and Ted from what I've seen. Typically, parallel realities are not considered to be infinite because they're hard to talk about in any way that makes any sense at all. Bill and Ted, it's just the level of over the top to explain away a lot of the scale of what's going on here as simply something that the time machine could have always done. I'd like to explore this possibility more in the future of interacting with infinite number of parallel realities and how we can incorporate that into more stories. Next time will be our last episode about Bill and Ted Face the Music. It'll just be a short one. I just want to talk about one of my favorite mechanics that's used in Bill and Ted just a little bit more. Thank you for listening.